Start with one that I'm sure you all know. Boom! Uprising! Bob Marley and Away. This was the last studio album. This was, there was an assassination attempt on his life in 76. This was in 1980. This is the last album that he put out. He was obviously a very political person, and there is speculation that there were, letter agencies involved in his assassination attempt. You don't need me to tell you what I think about that, right? Yeah, it could have been some rando, but is it ever really some rando? Especially when the U.S. government and white supremacist powers are concerned. I don't know. I'm not saying nothing. I'm just saying is all. Anyway, this particular album, let me show you the back. Here we go. There we go. I mean, amazing songs on this one, including one of the best Bob Marley songs, I think, and maybe you'll agree, Redemption Song. It's one of the very, very few songs that Bob Marley did where it was just acoustic guitar and vocals, and not that much of a recognizable reggae style. Really, it was kind of Bob Marley's Bob Dylan turn, and just a tremendous song. Old pirates, yes, they rob I, sold I to the merchant ships. Just emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds, which is actually a quote from Marcus Garvey, I believe. Just in case, I don't know if you knew that. But also contains Could You Be Loved, another beloved song. Coming in from the Cold, Pimper's Paradise, which was, there's a really great cover of Pimper's Paradise by his son, Damian Marley, Jr. Gong. But really, really great. A fantastic album. And, the last one, and I think Legend came out after he died. But get into it, babes. Great album. Now we're going to go to a little different flavor with the Xray Spex. Now, here's one that maybe y'all don't know as well, but you should. And this was fronted by Polystyrene, was her name. And just like always happens, right? If you look at every genre of music, right, especially American music, there is usually an uncredited black person, uncredited black weirdo, usually uncredited black femme at the helm of it. You want to talk about one of the first punk albums of the punk movement? Xray Spex, right? Anti-capitalist, to the core. And also she's considered to be the progenitor of kind of riot girl culture as well, even though she herself was I was more anti-capitalist than just purely feminist, but there's that as well too. But the reason that she's said to be one of the progenitors of the riot girl movement is that she completely eschewed the beauty standards, right? And obviously being a biracial person, there's a lot of ways that she was never going to meet beauty standards of this world, right? Of this overculture. But also wore braces, and she said something to the effect of if they start trying to make me a sex symbol, I'm going to shave my head and do something wild. A wild person with a very, very distinctive voice. Here's the back. And this is, obviously they just did these with practical effects. They did not have any computer editing back then. Here's the insert. It's got the lyrics and things like that, and a little smudge from time, because that's the other good thing about records is that their little scars are, this is from 1978, by the way. Their little scars become just part of the record of your life as well. The actual physical piece of media, and the dents and the dings, and the place where you dropped it that one time because you were drunk when you were putting it on. All of that becomes part of the story of the album and the music itself, and it's a personal connection to music. Actually, I wanted to read you a couple of her lyrics because she talked about, she had a song called Genetic Engineering. Genetic engineering could create the perfect race, could create an unknown life force that could us exterminate. Introducing worker clone as our subordinated slave. His expertise proficiency will surely dig our grave. The ahead of her time, of course, in talking about, the rise of certain, that song could have been written about AI. You know what I mean? And you just push it forward like 50 years and there you have it. Same thing, just as relevant. And, like a lot of black artists in music that comes to be known as white music, which is wild because like the band Death is really the progenitors of punk, and that was a black band, right? All of these, and speaking of that, like grunge, Tina Bell, who had a tragic and ignominious death, was found, unfortunately, like I think weeks after that she had died, in her room. She was, the group that she was in was called Bam Bam. Kurt Cobain was a roadie for her band. She was also a biracial person, but like a black woman. When it comes down to it, most biracial people, once you are racialized to a certain point, you're just a black person, and I don't see any point in making that much of a distinction, except for some conversations that happen within the group. But those are in group. That's not for y'all. Give Tina Bell her flowers, and it should have happened when she was alive, right? But make sure her name is mentioned when you talk about, the entire grunge changed. Grunge was a repudiation of the glitz and the glam, right? And then eventually, of course, it got rolled in because that's what the Empire does. See earlier conversation about Bad Bunny, how the Empire will take something that's outside and roll it back in and then sell it back to you. But Polystyrene here, would have eschewed all of that. And that is a good lesson for us to take going forward. And the other good lesson for us to take going forward is support real artists. Give people their flowers while they're here. Okay, don't wait until it's too late, until they're gone, until they've been proven right, but they're not here to see it. Right? You could never know how much it means to someone just to hear that something they've said to you matters. And I mean this in your individual life too, because there's a tendency we have we'll take something, assimilate it, and make it our own. But like, we might have argued with the person who told it to us when they told it to us in real time. But then later, when it's like we take it and we act like it was our idea or something, and it's weird. It's weird energy, right? Go back to someone tomorrow that taught you something you didn't know, or that showed you a new way of looking at this world or this life or something that you didn't know before, that changed the way that you, and just tell them that, share a little bit of that love, because that's real. That's real. And I hope somebody does that for you as well, because, whether we think of the parent-child relationship as one way, but really it's at a certain point, the children become teachers for the parents. I mean, that's something that really should be more understood. I know that we are all teaching our parents things right now about the way the world really is, right? Or at least we're trying, whether or not we can, or we are teaching them a lesson by being like, you don't get access to me anymore because of the way that you look at the world. So, at any rate, we are going to go right on to our next segment. Mistrix, take us out.